No, city. I can see you. Afternoon, guys. Friday, day 5, week 12. Well, 5 days, guys, to be done all of your assignment. Next Tuesday, June 16th, at the end of the day is the deadline. You know that. And you know that I will be accepting assignment the next day as well on Wednesday, the 17th, only for my class. After the 17th, that's it. It's over. You know it as well. So, guys, this weekend, I know it's going to be very nice and warm, but now it's time to finish the semester. It's time to be on summer holiday, and it's time to to be back. And yesterday during the Microsoft team, we were talking a tiny bit about September that is coming. For those who maybe don't know, there was an announcement made on Wednesday by the Ministry of Education stating that students in the province of Alberta will be going back to school as of early September, like we do usually. The only thing that we do not know yet if it's going to be a scenario one, basically like normal with some health measure, or scenario two, that would be with social distancing in a classroom, about 15 students per classroom, and then it would end up being cohort and all of that kind of staggering entry and exit and so on. So we'll wait what happened. The Ministry of Education stated the other day that the official announcement as far as what scenario will be used will be made official on August 1st in the middle of the summer. And August 1st is a good day because that's my birthday. So, guys, today I'm just going to finish that learning guide 12, that chapter 12, and starting next week when we see each other for the streaming on YouTube and on Thursday, I will be closing the course overall in general, and I will be piggybacking you guys very slowly for the last 8, 9 days of the year into the 10-2 course with globalization, Canadian reality, and so on. So when we get back to class in September, we will not be at zero. I'll have to review a tiny bit only instead of going in depth. So in our book guide yesterday, we ended up the day with the attitude towards resources on page 280 of the book. And it was one of the questions of this week assignment. We must use natural resource to satisfy our need for food, shelter, and clothing. We all know that. But we usually want more than what we really need. Our wish, our want, our bigger usually than what we really need. That's why we overspend in North America. We also see comfort, entertainment, luxury, and other non-essential things. This is why the third sector of the economy, the tertiary industry, has been developed for services, and the quaternary sector of the industry has been developed as well as far as skill, liberal profession like university professor, scientist, and so on, school teacher, and computer technology. And into that figure 12-5, it says different attitude towards the resource. When you look at the horizontal orange line that state the categories you have, use what we want, manage what we have, sustain our resource, and preserve our resource. That's sustainable development. That these four things is the answer at one of the question of the assignment. So we must have some attitude towards the environment, action that we need to take to be more aware of what's happening around, an example of action, then the thought about the future. So if you look as an example, attitude towards the environment with the preserve or resource to the right, we must not harm our environment, or we development today for development tomorrow. And if you look at action that take place with sustainability, people use natural resource, but make sure they will be available for future generation. Cut a tree, put two new one. And then when we go with sustain, example, selectively cut trees in the forest, reduce, reuse, and recycle. And the thought about the future, when you look at that category to sustain our resources, next generation, you guys need at least as many resources as we have today, or even more, because world population is constantly increasing. We must make sure that every natural resource is used fully. That way, nothing will be wasted. If I look now at page 281 in a section use, don't abuse, it is the section on sustainable development here, guys. If I look at line 4, sustainable development believes our need can be met and the environment can be protected at the same time. So to accomplish sustainable development, we change the way we use our right now at an ever faster rate. We live longer, we have better medicine, there's more food accessibility, and so on. And the fact that family in rich countries, like in Canada, have less children per family will also put this makes sustainable development extremely hard to achieve nowadays. Global warming and desertification of desert and drought, there will be less arable land available in the future to grow food in the tropic and along the equator. The best land, as you know, are in the northern hemisphere, in countries like Russia, Finland, and so on. So, to help us out, we're hoping that technology will help us make better use of our natural resource in the future with alternative energy, sort of like tidal energy, like solar energy, like as well as wind power energy. When you look at the next page, guys, at page 282, it talk about we must do better with figure 12-8 and 12-7. When you look at 12-7, this is the consequence of not looking at our resource. When you look at it, guys, what are the consequences on top? On non-renewable resource will be gone, and we will not be able to meet our need and want in the future. But if we go with renewable resource, we'll not have time to replenish, and the flow of resource will be of poor quality. So this is all negative, and the benefit of sustainable development, my friends. It looked like we save resource, we waste less, and we better protect the environment. And if you look at the trees now into the leafing, the flow of resource is not lower in quality. Renewable resource allowed to replenish by giving it time to grow or to rest the land for 1 year between seeding and harvesting. We'll have recycling a resource, reusing the good, and that will save space into landfill throughout Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and North America. If I look at environmental protection, it goes with less damage to environmental harvesting resource, less pollution, and of course, the species will be better protected from extinction. And not only 183, guys, if you look at the fact file on that page on the left side, as a typical North American will probably use these resources in a lifetime, about 486 tons of construction material, about metal, and 20 tons of chemical. If you take the lifetime of someone, the weight of a car goes with the metal, these kind of things. So those are astonishing numbers. If you look now, guys, on that page, the other fact file at the bottom of page 283, average Canadian use 390 liters of water a day per person. That's twice as much as the average person of Europe. That was one of the questions of the last assignment. On average, Canadians create about 1.7 kilogram of garbage a day, and the average person in Sweden will have less than 1 kilogram of waste a day. On average, Canadians produce about 380 kilograms of waste in 2002, and it increased in 2020. Trust me, about 20% was recycled only. About 140,000 tons of computer, TV set, stereo, cell phone are also disposed in landfill each year. This is why recycling programs are so important. And if you look now at sustain for our future at 283 figure 12-20, we have the old way and sustainable way. If you look at the old way, fossil fuel make up most of our energy source, the clean burning fossil fuel like natural gas, fuel made up like hydrogen, fuel cell. Car are the most common way of getting from place to place, but now with public transportation, or leg, bicycle, and mass transit has become more convenient. These people mover like bus or LRT use up less fuel, energy lasts longer, and transit vehicles are made from fewer natural resources. And finally, the farmland is lost because cities grow out into farming area. Population densities are very low, and that is fewer people per hectare. But if you look at the sustainable way of agriculture, city grew up instead of out. High rise and low rise apartment building are common. Park, natural area are an important part of cities. Cities are designed for people instead of cars. People walk and ride bike to many places in their community. As an example, my son is currently working downtown at the Little Rose Hospital for his university thing, and he's using his bike every day to go to work. So that way is way cheaper, way better for Mother Nature, good for your physical health, and you put all kind of funky little money in your pocket by not paying a car loan, car insurance, gas, licensing, plating, and so on. So, who should lead the change for tomorrow? Well, here we're talking about collaboration. Think about COVID-19 right now. Government, private enterprise, citizen, community league, women right movement, First Nation were all working together to find the best possible way to relaunch our economy, of course, but to also reassure the quality of life of the Canadian population. So on that page, guys, government can make the law and rule, but they need to be empowered by the population. Industries and business, well, they have to change their way into making their production more sustainable for the environment by utilizing the resource that they are using, not to waste too much. Consumer, well, we are the one who decide what to buy and we make our choice according to our values and standards. I would never buy clothing from a company that encourage child labor or underpay their worker if I would be made aware of it. Think about the example of Disney Corporation 15 years ago lost about 70% of their income on sale of shirt and garment and so on because a big American media company went into Southeast Asia in the country of Bangladesh and they discovered that the clothing that were made for the Disney Corporation were made by children. Practice model to offer more to the people that work in that secondary sector in the industry. And finally, us. We make our choice every day. We choose to litter or not. We choose to be sustainable or not. And as long as some people don't change their way, it's gonna still a challenge to adjust for today's and future realities. But my faith on page 285 to basically just about finish the course. Now we talk about the 3R. Well, if any of you doesn't know what the 3R is you're at, I can beat you with, I don't know, I'll beat you with a paper towel. Well, reduce, reuse, recycle. Most important of the 3R is to reduce. This will save resources that are used to make product and the packaging that goes with them. Packaging is just awful in North America. You buy a bag of chip, the bag is that big, you open the bag, there's only about not even half of the bag that is full of the product that need to get smaller. But consumer survey and customer studies show that the bigger the visual attraction is, the more likely someone will be buying something. I know it's silly, but a lot of people get cut by that. Travel wisely as well when travel is available again. Use a bicycle or public transit. By not using a car, you're saving energy and you reduce the pollution. And finally, don't throw out everything. You can compose your organic waste like we do at home. We have a little composter in the backyard, banana peel, potato peel, this kind of thing that all goes into it. Shake it, let Mother Nature take care of it, and next spring you have perfectly good earth full of nutrient that you can use and basically just pitch it into your garden or into your flower bed, and it really helps Mother Nature because you are creating new earth with the earth basically. Because everything rot, including human bodies, when they are buried for hundreds of years. So, guys, that's the course. The course is not any more difficult than that. But now it is up to you to complete all of the assignment that you need to have in order to have a really good high mark for the course. If I look at what I have in front of me right now, guys, for the class for Case Study 25, I am very pleased to say that I have already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 students that have totally completed the class, although about 27, one third. And I have a lot of people here that only need 1 or 2 assignments, a couple, three, to be perfectly at par. So I am very, very pleased with the effort that everybody has been putting into online learning. But now, guys, you need to put your money where your mouth is. You need to finish your courses. And with an S, that means all of your courses, because you know your teacher advisor may have to let your link admin know. In my case, Madam Marcelo, let's say Denis Potvin has not been doing any work for Canadian Study 25, he needs to repeat the course. Well, on that last week of the 22nd to the 26th, I'm going to check all of the file. And I do not have to ask Madam Marcelo to ask any of you to redo that course so you cannot progress into the 10-2 next year. This is why all of you need to do your work right now to be very successful so you can enjoy at peace with peace of mind your summer holiday. This has been and continue to be a very that that I ever experienced in my lifetime. And hopefully we do not have another one like that. But now, guys, it's up to you. You know I'm accepting paper all the time. I'm not picky about it. And I will always, always triple check everything before I shut my mark on the 22nd. You know that. So, friends, I'm imploring you right now, get it done. We're getting used to it. And if you go for Slurpee this weekend, good for you. And if you go for ice cream this weekend, have a big sip lick like that for me because I am a big fan of ice cream. I miss you very, very much, guys. And I really mean it. And I can't wait to have some fun with you again in September because you know we will. So, guys, have a lovely weekend. Go hard, go hard, go hard. And trust me, I know what it is to go hard. I've been a student for many, many, many years myself, and there's no glory without effort. This is the motto of St. Joseph High School. Bye bye, guys.